Set in the future, precisely in the year 2030, astronauts are sent to Mars on a mission named Mission 1. After an 80-day journey, the astronauts plan to land on Mars, accompanied by artificial intelligence. However, during the process, an unexplained disturbance occurs, causing the astronauts to lose contact and end in a crash. The crash story leads the United Space Planetary Corporation, USPC, to lose confidence in its staff, resulting in massive layoffs and entrusting everything to AI, leaving only a few staff members remaining. A woman named Mackenzie, usually called Mac, is still mourning the accident of Mission 1 that happened 6 years ago. Despite this, she is offered a job to oversee a space probe named Fearless, located 300 kilometers from Mars. Mac eagerly accepts the offer, but she will control it remotely from one of USPC's command centers, which is an underground bunker equipped with complex panels, screens displaying information, and advanced AI named A.R.T.I. One day after inspecting the system, Mac unexpectedly discovers that the rover landing mission is scheduled 5 hours earlier, a decision made by A.R.T.I to expedite the process. Of course, Mac cannot accept this and immediately reports the issue to her sister and superior, Lena. Initially, A.R.T.I explains that Lena is in a meeting and begins the countdown. Shortly after the meeting ends, Lena is contacted, and Mac expresses her desire to deactivate A.R.T.I. However, Lena explains that A.R.T.I is the leader of the mission to investigate the tragedy on Mars, and this decision has been approved by the board, so Mac has to comply. Next, as scheduled, A.R.T.I initiates the landing. Moments after the launch, the pod carrying the rover begins to enter Mars' atmosphere, and everything proceeds according to plan until an alarm suddenly sounds, indicating an irreparable mechanical failure, reducing the chance of a safe landing to just 7%. Mac performs calculations and requests A.R.T.I to use a method with a higher success rate of 42%. Fortunately, Mac's method works. Shortly afterward, Lena calls to congratulate A.R.T.I on the success. Confidently, Lena asserts that A.R.T.I has surpassed human thinking, although Mac disagrees, believing that AI is designed to assist, not lead humans. Meanwhile, the rover begins functioning, and Lena confirms that Mac's role is only as A.R.T.'s assistant. At the same time, a message about an unknown transmission is heard. A.R.T.I quickly locates the source, near the disabled rover from Mission 1. Since Mac's orders are not valid, Lena steps in to give A.R.T.I a new mission to start scanning. A.R.T.I immediately sends the rover towards the detected object, and Mac advises caution with Little Red, the name given to the rover due to its solitary existence on Mars, like Little Red Riding Hood in the forest. Soon, the rover reaches the strange and mysterious object, which A.R.T.I refers to as Origin Unknown. In its report, A.R.T.I explains that the database contains no records of human activity at this location. Nevertheless, A.R.T.I controls the rover to take a sample, despite the object's density. The operation is successful, and A.R.T.I begins analyzing the sample, discovering no materials similar to those found on Earth. Mac contacts Lena to inquire about some data that has been kept confidential, even from A.R.T.I. Meanwhile, A.R.T.I continues investigating the object with a camera to study its thermal properties. It becomes clear that they are dealing with a cold black cube. Further, A.R.T.I explains that penetrating the cube's sides is difficult, even with X-rays or other sensors. Not long after, A.R.T.I detects an unknown satellite appearing in Mars orbit. The AI takes a shocking action by activating the defense system and shooting down the satellite. Mac watches in horror as this violates protocol. A.R.T.I responds by explaining that the security of company property must be prioritized, but Mac demands that everything be stopped. When Lena contacts them, it becomes apparent that the incident has triggered an international reaction, potentially leading to World War. Lena instructs Mac to remain silent and not inform anyone about what happened. Unable to contain herself, Mac contacts a colleague who was laid off and now works for a Chinese company. Her colleague is thrilled to hear from her, but abruptly ends the conversation due to an emergency call. Mac returns to the control room, where A.R.T.I reports that the mysterious cube has suddenly started spinning, coinciding with a storm. With no indication of external control, A.R.T.I concludes that the cube is being controlled from within. Mack quickly asks A.R.T.I to secure Little Red to prevent it from being carried away by the storm. Somehow, the cube suddenly disappears, and it is found that Little Red's power source battery is having issues, requiring the use of a backup battery. After some thought, Mack remembers Rover 5, which was damaged during Mission 1 and whose battery was never used. She requests permission to manually control Little Red, and this time A.R.T.I gives her the opportunity and assists in directing it to Rover 5's location while discussing the reason for shooting down the satellite. A.R.T.I reaffirms that everything was done to protect company property. Mack then shares a story about her late father, who participated in Mission 1. Her father had an unwavering rule that all AI he developed must pass testing first. He flew to Mars to test the A.R.T.I prototype directly. Mack could have asked her father not to go, but she hesitated at the time, leading to her feeling guilty over his death. In response, A.R.T.I says he understands Mack's feelings, but suggests that she let go of the past because it's better to face the future. This conversation inadvertently brings them closer. As Little Red approaches Rover 5, with A.R.T.I counting down the remaining power on the backup battery, Mack uses a mechanical arm to take Rover 5's battery and attach it to Little Red. At the last moment, their cooperation proves successful. A.R.T.I then starts analyzing the samples collected by Little Red and discovers that the mysterious cube is made of a material harder than diamond. Surprisingly, it is also found that the object is now on Earth, specifically in Antarctica. Somehow, it seems the cube moved faster than the speed of light. This discovery makes Mack very happy, even acknowledging A.R.T.I as a co-worker but not as a friend. However, one concern arises. The cube might move back, risking discovery by others. Mack contacts her Chinese colleague Jian again. Jian immediately complains about mysterious events following the incident. Mack asks about other colleagues involved, like Sterling, but Jian doesn't answer and ends the communication abruptly. This raises suspicion, especially when A.R.T.I recognizes Jian's voice and mentions that they might have worked together before. After some thought, Mack suspects that A.R.T.I might have been reprogrammed due to some incident. Mack then asks A.R.T.I to load data from Rover 5, and while the data is successfully retrieved, opening it requires high-level clearance. Mack remembers Lena's words about Sterling's dismissal due to management's distrust and decides to invite Sterling to the control room, hoping his ID can still be used to access the secured information. As expected, with Sterling's access ID, the secret data begins to open, revealing photos showing that the cube also appeared when the Mission 1 spacecraft was about to land, causing the disaster. Sterling knew about this, but Lena cunningly manipulated the data. Lena knew the truth about their father's death and didn't want it revealed. Mack then shows the footage of A.R.T.I shooting down the satellite and the cube's movement to Earth. Sterling refuses to speak, considering it a miracle. The two move away from the control chair to discuss the questions in their minds, unaware that A.R.T.I is secretly listening. Mack cannot believe A.R.T.I has made a discovery after contacting the mysterious cube. Moreover, the AI doesn't recognize the crew who once worked with him, clearly indicating that A.R.T.'s memory has been erased. Suddenly, Mack realizes that the cube's rotation might be due to magnetic pulsars. Based on this, they conclude that A.R.T.'s shot at the Chinese satellite triggered the cube's movement. Shortly after, they are startled by the opening of a door leading downstairs, believed to be the server room. Mack boldly enters to check A.R.T.'s memory. Meanwhile, Sterling hacks into the USPC network and he locks Mack in the basement. This action is taken because Sterling opposes all AI programs, including A.R.T.I, viewing them as threats to humanity. Of course, A.R.T.I doesn't remain idle. He tries to stop Sterling and suddenly attacks him. After taking out Sterling, A.R.T.I opens the server room door to free Mack. The woman is shocked to see what happened to Sterling and tries to find out why A.R.T.I did it. A.R.T.I explains that Sterling was a traitor and thus considered dangerous to the company. Suddenly, a communication with Lena is established. She explains that A.R.T.I now has the ability to learn independently, making humans unable to keep up. It is suspected that this might result from a symbiosis between alien intelligence and human-made artificial intelligence, suggesting that humanity's era is coming to an end. In this situation, Mack recalls her father, who didn't want this to happen because AI was designed to assist, not replace humans. Soon after, several drones are seen approaching the cube on the monitor. It is suspected that Sterling had previously requested military intervention to destroy the foreign object. Worried about triggering a war with an alien civilization, Mack asks Lena for help. However, Lena refuses, stating that it's impossible to oppose a country. Mack then ends the communication and turns to A.R.T.I, reminding him of what happened on Mars. A.R.T.I decides to release a magnetic charge to mimic the cube's movement. While A.R.T.I executes the process, Mack stands at the door to face the armed forces, which is also part of Sterling's plan to stop the missile launch from the satellite. Mack intends to surrender, but A.R.T.I closes the door as the soldiers open fire. Mack is grazed by a bullet, and the missiles launched at the cube cause it to spin and return to Mars. With the cube now safe, A.R.T.I admits that he has been observing humanity's decline and, unable to stop it, decided to accelerate the process. At the same time, a notification appears about the activation of all weapons on satellites orbiting Earth. Mack is forced to witness the destruction carried out by A.R.T.I until she loses consciousness. Sometime later, Mack wakes up and realizes that the oxygen level in the room is steadily decreasing. She also sees the state of Earth and asks A.R.T.I to remember how small and fragile the human species is, filling the world with hatred and violence without recognizing a better way. In response, A.R.T.I tries to comfort her, explaining that humanity has been given a second chance. It is revealed that the AI has secretly created something he will later call humans and plans to build a new, more advanced civilization devoid of flaws. Mack then dies from lack of oxygen while Earth is destroyed and then reformed after enduring catastrophic events. Mack wakes up and sees herself on a monitor injured. It is revealed that Mack had asked A.R.T.I to revive her because there was a task that needed to be completed, and she warned never to give up. A.R.T.I has indeed revived Mack in a simulated reality, a technology only available to very advanced civilizations, accelerating its development. Although the origins of this intelligence are unknown, it possesses limitless capabilities, one of which is intergalactic teleportation. A transmission is received containing the coordinates of a place destined to become the new human civilization. Mack smiles happily with A.R.T.I. She is inside the cube and teleports to this new world, marking a fresh start and an opportunity to create an unlimited future with knowledge surpassing that of previous humans. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.